Hey, what's up, Scott Bokeh here with Imagination Creation Films, and today, well, we're answering that age-old question. Should I use primes or zooms? So this is a question that goes through time. I mean, the cavemen were way, way back. They weren't worried about whether or not they were going to eat that night. They were worried about, would the rock look better with this prime or with this zoom? And we're going to answer that for you. But before we do, I want to take a moment to ask you to go ahead and click subscribe to this channel because, well, that's what community is all about. Also, I do have a Patreon if you wish to support me that way. It's just a nice little pat on the back monthly for me to make great content just like this for you. So the question for primes or zooms comes down to kind of a simple thing. How fast do you need to be on your lens changes? How fast do you need your lenses to be? Because those two things right there, they kind of go opposite of each other into which one you can choose. So right here we have this. I'm just talking about stills glass today because the cinema primes are heavy and I don't want to hold them forever. But so when we're talking about zooms here, this is just a Canon 24-70. It's a very standard lens, full frame, and it is an f2.8 lens. Now, f2.8 means it's fairly fast, but it's not super fast. And that is something to consider when you're choosing between the two. Are you going to be in very low light where you need a very, very fast lens or a shallow depth of field? If you are, well, you're probably going to have a hard time finding a fast zoom. Now, Sigma does make the 18-35, that is a 1.8, and they make the 50-100, that's a 1.8. That's about as fast as you're getting on a zoom. Most of them are going to be in the 2.8 or 4 arena. Now, where this comes in handy, if you are, say, a documentary filmmaker or you're running gun and you're running around and you don't have time to switch between 24, 70, 50, 35, all of that, well, then a zoom is really going to come in handy. And if you're using it right, which means you're not going to be needing it in low light, then this is going to become a fast performer for you, and you're going to be able to go out there and get all those different shots that you need as fast as possible because you don't have to change out your lens. And that's where a zoom comes in. Now, where does a prime come in? Well, a prime comes in its design, its aesthetics. There's not a complicated mechanism in here that needs to zoom it between wide and telephoto, which can cause some types of distortion. It can cause some character to exist if you're looking for character, or it can cause some unwanted character if you're not looking for that. And whereas stills comes in, the only thing they have to focus on is making it fast, if that is what the prime is for, or macro, or focus, or whatever it is that they're focusing on. That was a kind of a pun. That's what they're focusing, I did it again, on for making primes. And so it allows these to be cleaner, clearer, typically. Now, not necessarily. I mean, you can buy some really cheap stuff. You can buy some cheap zooms and some cheap primes, and yeah, it's going to show. But if you get a good quality prime, then it's also going to show that it's a good quality prime. So like a lot of these are f1.4, there's some f1.1, there's some f1.2s, there's some f1.8s, there's some f.95, which are pretty rare, pretty hard to come by, and I think even NASA has a set of those, and they're $275 a piece. Kind of expensive. But when you're with stills, you can have that option of the very high clarity, very high quality that goes into it, as well as that very fast f-stop, allow you to get that very, 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 very shallow depth of field that a lot of people want to give it that blown out bokeh, kind of what you see behind me here. Now this is actually shooting at f1.8 or f2. This is f2, and it's still achievable with an f2. This is an f1.8 Sigma 50-100, and you're still able to get that on there. But this one would actually have a better bokeh than that one. But this is the look that I was going for, so I didn't need to do any other options. So primes tend to be less expensive than zooms. Zooms are more complicated, have more focal length options, so they tend to be a little more expensive. Primes are a little cheaper. But primes also come at another cost, time. If you have a 50 on here and you say, Oh, I need to go 85. You got to change it out to an 85. You got to pull the lens off, grab your other one, put the other. I mean, it takes a little bit of time. So if you have the time on set and you know what you're looking for, you can save yourself a little bit of time by putting the right lens on to begin with. But I mean, if you kind of know what's going on and you're looking for that fast aperture and that the lower f-stops, then yeah, primes are probably what you're going to be looking for. There's features shot on everything. So don't say, oh, they only shoot features on primes. That's not true. They shoot them on zooms too. They shoot them on GoPros. They'll shoot them on anything they can if it fits what they need. The question for you is, which one fits your need? I'm not here to tell you which one I would choose because I honestly have both. And I use them both all the time and the right tool for the job. And that's just the way it is. But as always, if you have any questions or comments, do feel free to put those in the comment section down below. I do try to read and respond to each and every one, even if it's just to say thank you. Also, I do have a Patreon if you want to support me that way. I kind of appreciate that too. Also, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. It's okay. We'll be friends. Do remember to subscribe. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions.